just in unison when the fourth pick is announced, Will Campbell, you all shrug, and somebody's like, "Hey, does somebody have to say something?" We're actually on the radio, so shrugging on the radio doesn't.
It's gonna
really
be just.
resonate.
It's gonna be the Andy Hart sound.
Oh, it should be more than that, though. No.
Why?
That's
Well,
too negative.
I saw a frequent guest of the Six Rings podcast earlier today, Bo from Boer Sports, compare the peak of Will Campbell to Bernard Raymond. That he wants to see that his ceiling is not Tristan Wirfs, but it's Bernard Raymond. And I was like, who the hell's Bernard Raymond? Turns out left tackle for the Colts. And I thought, oh, he probably must be kind of middling. Like, no, actually, he's a top 10 left tackle in the league. So I guess, we got that to look forward to. Again, if it just came with the whole, like, this is Joe Alt 2.0. This is Tony Baselli. This is Tristan Wirfs. This is, I'm sorry again. This is Trent Williams. This is, you can't miss on this prospect. Because we have just been pinged enough times with McShay saying, well, guys around the league say no one says he's worth a 4. I had Scout DNFL on Six Rings podcast this morning. He said, yeah, it's him or Membu to me. And he's like, well, Membu's the better tackle, but because he's played over there, Campbell's probably going to be the better left tackle because he's more familiar with it. Like, oh, good. So it's either like a mid to upper mid-ish level left tackle or someone who could be good or flame out because they've only played right tackle in college. Like, there's just nothing to get excited about. I'm sorry to say, there's just nothing to get Christian Gonzalez, Drake May, burner receiver, GOAT tight end. Like, there's just nothing to get super fired up about right now.
So let me push back on that because my answer to that is, and I get some of the criticisms. I do blame our co-host, Ted Johnson, for helping.
Everything.
Yeah, for everything in general, but also helping fuel this idea locally. I know nationally everybody's talked about the arm length and all of that. Locally, he has belabored the point. Small hands, short arms. No one's ever been good at that. Blah, 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 blah.
And you know what Scarnecchia said about it. He said, I don't care. Thursday night at the party for Doug Kyde at the draft party. You probably saw the clip. David Andrews says, I think it's BS.
Thank you.
He doesn't care. He's like, if he can play, he can play. And David Andrews is like, look at me. They told me I was undersized. I don't have very long arms. Sure, he didn't get drafted, but the dude played for 10 years at a pretty damn high level with the New England Patriots. So
I thought Mike Reese did a nice job on Sunday. He led off his Sunday notes with a conversation, quotes from Logan Mankins, who is relevant to this situation on multiple levels. He was a first-round pick of the New England Patriots, a left tackle at Fresno State, who was moved to guard, who had 33 and change arms, and I thought it was just interesting. Joe Tooney is also referenced in there, another short-armed left tackle, NC State, all-conference, moves into guard. And that's what you're talking about, is it should excite you in one sense that Will Campbell is being compared to guys like Logan Mankins and Joe Tooney. Those are Pro Bowl caliber offensive linemen who are the heartbeat. I don't care. The heartbeat of Super Bowl winning teams or Super Bowl competing teams in Logan Mankins' case, because he was somehow in that middle window where he didn't collect a damn ring, and it's terrible.
Yeah, he's sadly a member of Club Marino, the New England Patriots edition, along with Randy Moss and several others. Like, you deserve a ring. I can't believe you didn't get one.
And you also mentioned Christian Gonzalez and Drake May. What would Will Campbell have compared to those two? How would he favorably compare? And I would say simply, part of the reason you were so excited about those two is because they filled massive needs for the team, biggest needs for the team, marquee
and flashier
holes.
Positions, obviously.
But not really, because left tackle is considered in that hierarchy of pass rusher, pass protector, quarterback, and pass defender. Like, those are sort of the hierarchy positions in the NFL.
Sure.
And you checked off a couple of those.
Right. But when I say flashier positions, I mean on Sunday nights, on Monday mornings, on our show, on, what happened on the midday show. You hear highlights of quarterbacks throwing passes. You hear highlights of cornerbacks making great interceptions and pick sixes. You have to wait for Jeff Saturday to do his pancake block segment on Get Up, It's Football Time, or Brian Baldinger to do a breakdown and be like, oh, look at this technique from Will Campbell. That's the flashiness. That's the sex appeal I'm talking about.
Correct, but the flashiness will also come when you don't have plays blown dead because the left tackle didn't know how to line up, or plays blown dead because the left tackle held, or plays blown dead because the quarterback is dead lying on his back in the backfield.
Well, what a sad state of affairs that we need to recalibrate to that base level.
So in one sense, I believe Will Campbell is a sexy, exciting pick just because he fills a marquee position with a guy who's proven he can play that position at a very high level. But the flip side of that is even Logan Mankins admitted arm length matters. So we can point to David Andrews or we can point to Dante Scarnecchia who say arm length doesn't matter. And Logan Mankins said it's a definite benefit. I would have taken longer arms. At tackle, some of those DNs, you look at their arms and holy smokes, they're super long. You want to keep those guys away from you. The longer arms, the better. Okay, so now I'm confused. Logan Mankins didn't have long enough arms, but he was more than good enough to play in the offensive line in the NFL at an elite level, a borderline Hall of Fame level, certainly Patriots Hall of Fame level. He's up for induction or nomination yet again.
Yep.
But then even he admits, yeah, though, it's hard. And Joe Thuney, another example. The Chiefs had to force him into left tackle duty this year. He's not a great left tackle. He's a great guard. He's a good enough left tackle who can spot start for you, fill in.
Same as Logan, yeah.
That's where I have reached the point, and thank God the week is almost over, and we're almost getting to the draft. Because I've
never been more excited.
You know me. I've been pounding the Will Campbell drum for, yes, you do know me, and unfortunately for you, that's the reality of your life these days. But you know I've been pounding this drum as like, I don't know, he's probably the best left tackle available, right? Like, you don't get to pick what's available.
Is he? Really?
Yes.
I mean, but like, are we sure about that? Like, that a guy that could ultimately end up getting kicked inside to guard is the best left tackle?
Okay.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you believe he's good enough to play left tackle in the NFL? Because if you flat out think he can't play left tackle, I think this conversation changes.
I think so.
So you think he's good enough to play left tackle? Because I've seen a lot of that. He'll be a good enough left. McShay just said it. He can be a good enough left tackle. He's got all the other stuff. He's got the edge of a Logan Mankins, the leadership. I mean, the little wink. You and I talked about it. It's radio, so we couldn't actually show it. But he's squatting 600 pounds and he winks. That's a badass mofo left tackle right there. Like, to me, that says something about him. So, okay, would I
he a dude. I'm sure if we had a chance to talk to a bunch of LSU positional coaches and his teammates, they'd all be like, oh, hell, man, I'll line up next to that guy. Like, that's the first person you want in front of you if a fight's about to break out. Yeah. And that's what happens every Sunday in the NFL.
And that's what I want Drake May to have. And you don't get to pick what's available. You have to pick from what is available. And they need a left tackle, and I think a lot of us believe, and maybe this is desperation. Maybe I'm looking at this from a desperate vantage point. They need a left tackle. They don't have a. We got all excited last week because Colton Miller might be available from the Raiders. Would I take him? Sure. He's proven he can play left tackle in the NFL.
Yes,
so I would take
exactly.
him.
And that's probably the level that you would want or hope that Will Campbell could play at, is being like a 12th to 14th best left tackle in the league, which is a massive step up and improvement from everything that's gone on post 2018 Trent Brown, the Marshall Newhouse era, the flip back of Trent Brown, Vidarian Lowe, everybody, Chukwuekorfor, for whomever, whatever. Yes, massive upgrade over there. It's just too bad that the one time we hope they will ever have a pick this high again, or for at least a decade or two, it's going to end up going to a left tackle that we have not character concerns, but on-field length and talent concerns about.
It is what it is, right? That's the situation in front of you. You need a left tackle. If he's the best left tackle, if that's the final hole to fill, take it. Because otherwise, the flip side is, I know Ted Johnson, he's not here, so I can talk about him right now. Ted Johnson says they're going to find a tackle. Oh, you can find a tackle. Where exactly? They've been trying to find a tackle for multiple years now. And if they don't take Will Campbell, is it find a tackle in the second round? Now it seems like there could be a run on tackles late in the first. You're going to have to trade up.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. On the Six Rings pod today, Scout Daniel Rotman, the guy behind Scout D NFL, said, if it were not for Josh Simmons' injury, which he seems to be recovering well from, he would have been the top tackle prospect. He's on the Mike Giardi train that Josh Simmons may ultimately be the better left tackle. You just have to get it. You just have to figure out if you take somebody else at 4, Jalen Walker, chaotic with Ashton Genty, whatever it may be. Where do you have to trade back up? Because if that run starts on left tackles, Andy, and he goes at 13 or 15, and you were hoping to jump in and get him at 20, well, now you're looking at the Connerlys, and now you're thinking about the Urseries and the other guys, and where are they on your board, and how comfortable are you with them as your LT of the future?
And that would be my nightmare, to leave Thursday night knowing that you didn't take a left tackle in Will Campbell. Let's just say you took Jalen Walker, and then there was a run on left tackles, and you don't end up with a left tackle in the first round or two of the NFL draft, or you took the wrong one. That's the other thing. Remember last year you needed a receiver, and you ended up taking the wrong receiver? Oh, I don't need to remind you. Lad McConkey, okay, blah, blah, blah. Well, you took Jalen Polk. You can't do that at tackle because it will derail your 2025 season. But it feels like Will Campbell could be the pick.